Welcome to the Wedding Songs Podcast, featuring newly released songs you need to know and the tried and true classics. Get song ideas from the time guests arrive until the last dance of the reception. And now your host, Matt Campbell, founder of MyWeddingSongs.com.
Welcome, everybody, to the Wedding Songs Podcast. I am Matt Campbell. Today, I have on the show a very special guest. I'm going to start off by giving some of his credentials. He's the owner of Bunn DJ Company. He is the co-host of the PhDJ podcast, owns the DJ's Vault, Bunn Gear, which has the command center, improving the look of DJs at shows, involved with Crate Hackers and the DJ Collective, which is a conference for DJs to up their game. I have to say, too, Bunn DJ Company is located in 5 states across the United States. Welcome to the show, Joe Bunn.
What's up, man? Thanks for having me.
Hey, thanks for hopping on the call. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
I have to start off the way that I start off with every podcast is, can you describe one of your most memorable moments at a wedding?
Most memorable moment at a wedding. It's tough, right? It's kind of like one of those things where people ask you to pick your favorite song or, your favorite child, which is just insane to me. Having 2 sons of my own, I almost look at weddings or parties or events that I've done as like a collage. When I think about all the shows I've done in my career this last 30 some years, I remember more so like if something bad happened than I do if something really good happened or unusual. So really almost all the good stuff runs into this constant reel in my head where clips just keep getting added to it. And I try and kind of hold on to those memories. When I was looking over what we were going to talk about, I don't have this like one vivid memory. I still get soft for a parent dance. I still love a good first dance, especially if the song gives me goosebumps, you know what I mean? Or if I haven't heard the song, which is even more amazing. Like I've only really heard it when I was prepping for their crate. And then once I see it live and their dance is just perfect, those all just kind of run together though. There's not this one definitive moment. It's just like a rolling collage of highlights.
I totally agree with that. That's the way I remember it too. I always remember the bad things, and it's so sad that we have to remember those.
Yeah, but they're learning moments, right? Oh, I didn't go out there and line them up. I let the wedding planner do it. Or I just assumed that the next dance was the mother-son, but he was actually dancing with his sister because his mom passed away. Luckily, I haven't done that. But what I'm saying is you get into this routine, especially if you do a ton or if you're doing these back-to-backs, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and we're human, right? You'll make a mistake. And then it's like, how do you recover? And what did you learn from it? So sometimes I remember and I can see an image. I'll look up here on the wall sometimes. I'll be like, ooh, I remember that was weird. Or I'll look at one of these pictures and be like, oh, that was so like that. This girl, she had all the guys laying on the ground. She stood on top and they rolled across the floor and she surfed the entire dance floor to da, 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 da. So I can just, it's almost like I'll look at these pictures and just have this quick memory of something special or tragic that may have happened.
Great memories. I love the wall because it brings back to bringing the couples even into your office just to say, hey, these are some of the great moments that we've created.
Everybody that walks in here comments. Even Amazon walks in here, he's like, whoa, dude, this is so cool. I mean, and it goes all the way down there and all the way down. I don't even have any. That's it. Like now I'm gonna have to start swapping them out when they get dated, but it's full now.
Awesome. So can you tell everybody in your own words a little bit about you and your company?
I was just at the bank opening a new account, which, by the way, I haven't been in a bank in a long time. Like, actually, it's the worst. And this guy was the guy there. He's been there for 25 years. It's not like I had some rookie. And I was there 90 minutes and not waiting, just like sitting in his office to open a bank account. It was so painful. But I was telling him, he was like, well, you guys did great. He's looking at my checking account. I was like, yeah, we had a great year. And he was like, what are you doing marketing wise? And I was like, for me now, it's become 30 some years in Eastern North Carolina, which is the main office here in Raleigh. I grew up in Eastern North Carolina. I went to college at Chapel Hill, which is more kind of middle North Carolina. Now I'm in Raleigh, which is kind of in the middle of the state. But like from Raleigh to the beach, we play. We got, 20 some guys now. We have our company holiday party tonight. I think we have 25 seated at the table. And they're all running around out there with these black and yellow Bunn DJ Company business cards. And I think that we've just built this reputation now of between the vendors and the venues and the clients, that's how we've become successful, right? And when you flash that card or you show up in the black polo with the yellow logo, or you tell the venue owner or the coordinator there that you're with Bunn DJ Company, regardless if they've never seen you play, they feel, you can almost see a sense of relief. Oh, we're going to be fine tonight. Yep, it's one of Joe's guys. And so I feel like I built the company, but I built it with these soldiers, is what I call them. And these other offices just were almost a byproduct. They were people that worked here that wanted more, right? They had a little more entrepreneurial drive or wanted to be a business owner instead of just a soldier. And that's how those came about. Those weren't just random ads I put in the back of an entrepreneurial magazine. It was people that were working here and said, hey, I want to open a Bunn DJ company in Charleston, in California. So that's the company in a nutshell, but it's all based on the talent and their responsiveness to me, their responsiveness to customers, their show, their professionalism, their willingness to be part of a team, but they're also very well taken care of. And this is exactly where they want to be. From day one, I got people who've been here for 23, 4, 5 years. I got people that have been here for 6 months. But when they're first brought on and onboarded, or even before they're onboarded during the interview, I've always told every one of the DJs here, this is not your full-time job. This is not, you cannot support your family on this. This is your Disney trip. This is your wife and you vacation to Jamaica. This is your wife's new Louis bag for Christmas. You can make a lot of money, great money, but you're not going to support 2, 3, 4 people off this, especially if you have a house and a couple of cars and you want your kids to go to school. I'm very honest and open about what this job is. But as an owner, that's why I like the multi-op model, right? Is as an owner, I don't have to play at all anymore, quite frankly. I love it. I play all the time. I played last night. I'm playing in an hour and a half for a corporate event. I still like to play, but I don't have to play. At 52, getting older, I do less shows for more money than I ever thought you could get DJing. When we were at $9.95, I was like, we're killing it. We've hit the mark. Like, we've made it. And now I'm asking for $4,000 or $5,000 to go out and do a wedding. And so it's just such an incredible ride and journey, really, not even just from a personal career standpoint, but just to watch the rise of the DJ in general. The DJ, listen, are there people that still go, dude, you're still doing that? Or they look down on it, or they have no idea how much money you can make doing it? 1,000%. People I went to college with, people I don't like, people I don't circulate with, but it's just, they can be condescension. But at the end of the day, the rise of the DJ over the last, let's call it decade, is undeniable. We're in Sprite commercials. You're playing, we're playing in stadiums. You have residencies in Las Vegas, and you've got guys that are making $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 to go out and do a wedding, where that used to be reserved for the 8, 9, 10-piece band. Cover bands. It's a revolution. I don't see it going away. You can talk AI and you can talk replacement of the DJ, but if you're good and you're providing a service and being a good person and treating your clients well and your customer service and client experience is next level, you're not going anywhere but
I think that the rise of the festivals has really improved the stigmas of DJs. When you have the Calvin Harrises and people like those guys that are out there performing, I think that's only leveling up the DJ stigmas.
I mean, I think it helps all the way around, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because who it doesn't help is the people that aren't very good. Because now, if you were entertaining couples that could be half your age, which is true with me, not every weekend, but a lot of weekends, they're 25, 30, 35. They did not come up hearing the fuddy-duddy tuxedo wearing DJ that was fading in and fading out songs. They came up going to festivals. They came up going to Las Vegas clubs. They came up even at the college bar down the street. I guarantee I've been in those bars before, and I've seen the guys playing in there, and I'm like, this dude's really freaking good. You know what I mean? And so they didn't come up on this fade in, fade out song. They came up on quick mixing and song selection and remixes and mashups and things like that. So I think that there's good and bad of the exposure of the DJ has made it great for DJs to rise, but it's probably hurt the people that never adapted or wanted to become better.
And a lot of DJs, like you said, are part-time. It's not their full-time job. Taking care of them is that much more important because they have to level up their skills just to be hired by couples today and what they expect. Let's take a little bit of a left turn.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of your biggest challenges you faced in your career?
I think to me, money, which I know that sounds crazy, up until, I don't know, 5 years ago was a challenge. Holding it and managing it and saving it. And I think that probably is not really even DJ related. I mean, entrepreneurial related. And I think it is probably creative person related. But I feel like just overall money management was and still I'm just, like I said, I feel like I'm still new to the game, but it was always my Achilles heel. And it's taken a long time even to just put the right people in place to manage it better. I've definitely been through a couple of accountants that just didn't do a good job. I've been through a few bookkeepers that didn't do a good job. I didn't do a good job personally, either spending too much or being too high risk. I am high risk. I don't try and shy away from it, but sometimes you have to have money before you go into that risk phase of your life. And back then I didn't, I was just trying all these different things and buying all these different things, and it caught up to me. And so, I feel like if that was my weakness, I've conquered it, or I'm at least in the process of conquering it, but that was always my weakness. And I don't, it's kind of like if you go through whatever left brain, right brain things, like sometimes my brain is more like focused on what can I shoot today that's going to be entertaining, or what kind of mix can I come up with that's going to be a dance floor hitter. And then the other side of the brain is like, well, you made a bunch of money today, but what are you going to do with it? You know what I mean? Like my kids are old now. I mean, we got one in school this year, college. So it was like, didn't do a great job saving that money up. And he picked the most expensive school he could, of course. I'm in the catch up phase, put it that way. I don't know that I have regrets, but I don't have life regrets, but I certainly have regrets about not doing better saving and planning with my money when I was 25 and not 45.
It's interesting you say that, because we had a conversation the other night about just that. If you went into high schools and instead of doing DARE, you did money management, what a different society that we would have. That's
100%. I agree. I mean, replace any arbitrary program. I mean, take out dodgeball, whatever, or even do that year one college. I would have loved that college course as an elective, or really required. Like you said, it is totally overlooked and not discussed. Yep. And there's probably a reason behind it. I don't want to get into conspiracy theories, but right. I don't know. Maybe we're supposed to live in debt.
Well, I can tell you, for the business owners listening, in November of 2017, I don't know why I remember that. We took a Dave Ramsey course. It was the beginning of owning our money instead of our money owning us. And things totally changed.
I have good and bad thoughts about Dave, right? I mean, I vocally said something I probably shouldn't have at the DJ Collective. Won't repeat it on the show. But I appreciate what Dave is doing, but I also am not going to alter my life to the point of unenjoyment. Like today, did I go and spend $5.50 on a latte and another $4 on a scone? Yes. Will I go do it tomorrow and probably the next day? Yes. Because that's what I like, right? That's how I like to start the day. I like to sit at the end of the bakery bar and drink my latte and look at Instagram and eat my delicious scone. Like there's some things I'm not going to do, but I also don't have this insurmountable amount of debt. I've never taken on crazy amounts of debt. So I do believe in that, right? I don't want that weight sitting on my shoulders. That's why I never got into AV production, for example. Right. You see a lot of DJs take this pivot towards video walls and screens. So now they've got trucks, they got video walls, they have a warehouse, they have 15, 20, 30 people on staff. They're carrying millions of dollars worth of debt that could be just sitting in the warehouse if they don't have shows that weekend. I never was that guy or wanted to be that guy. So I ride the line, right? I love what Dave's saying. I love what he wants people to do, but I'm not willing to, however many $1,000 that is in scones and lattes a year. I'm sorry, Dave. I don't want to shave my mortgage off that much. You know what I mean? What I enjoy in life, the simplest thing.
Yep. We're in 100% agreement there, where we curtail it to our lifestyle that we want to live. We're not going to bypass a trip to a baseball stadium just because I want to
Perfect.
save. No, I'd
Thank you.
rather live life. And
Absolutely. You have to have those life experiences, those memories, the chance to go to these different stadiums or watch the games, to sit in the sun. That is life. Like, yeah, that's great. I could have gotten to 60 and been debt free and paid off my house and all my cars and my kids to go to school. But I wouldn't have done anything. I wouldn't have gone to the concert and sat on the front row. I wouldn't have gone to take my son to countless basketball and football games all over the country. I'm just not going to live like that. We don't even know that we're guaranteed to make it to 60.
Right.
I mean, who knows what's going to happen? And then what? You don't even finish out your run and you did nothing other than save money? That's insane, Dave. Sorry, buddy.
So let's get back to music because, hey, we are the Wedding Songs podcast.
That's true.
How important is music knowledge to you when hiring DJs?
It would definitely be top 3 things that they would need to come work here. The model here is very interesting as compared to, have you had Mike on yet, Mike Walter?
No.
You should definitely get Mike on just because we're so different. It would be an interesting conversation. But the model here is very different than Mike Walter. Mike is in New Jersey, which, as y'all know, if you listen to this or if you're a DJ, is the most highly populated market of DJs. You can't throw a stick without hitting somebody that's an absolute rock star. They're just tons of incredible. I can name 50 off the top of my head that live within an hour of each other that are all amazing. But everybody that came to work here over the last 2 decades, whatever, 3 decades now, has been a DJ of some sort. Could have been at a skating rink, could have been in a mitzvah world. It could have been that they had their own mobile DJ company but weren't making any money. They all are DJs. Mike, on the other hand, that's how I started talking about Mike, is the opposite. He would prefer to not teach an old dog new tricks. He might be at Chili's eating wings and the bartender's incredible personality wise. He might be like, hey man, you'd make a kick-ass DJ. Here's my business card. Call Elite Entertainment if you ever have this notion of being a DJ. Or somebody will come up to him while he's doing a wedding and be like, dude, this looks so fun. Mike will say, you should try it out. Here's my card. And he's trained absolute superstars that have been there for 2 decades as well. But both of us are going to ask these people, tell us about your love of music. How did you get into this, right? That's how I got into it. My parents weren't DJs. They weren't musicians, but still, I never walk in the house and there's not something playing. In the car, the radio was always on. The house, they still play CDs. Like there's just a CD player playing somewhere in a corner. The music's always been there. And so I'm always asking people, tell me about your musical past. And you'll get everything. Oh, I'm a bass player in a church band. Oh, I'm a drummer in a rock band. Oh, I've been DJing forever and just don't really like the admin and running the company. And I'm sure Mike does the same, because that would be red flag 1 for me. I need to know you love this, like love the music. The business, maybe you don't love setting up, but if you don't love music, you're in the wrong profession, man. Like, and I've told my guys that if you're dreading going to do these shows, you're dreading putting that suit on at 2:00 on a Saturday, I don't need you anymore, man. I've got plenty of guys here that want to work. I can't have you out there with that kind of attitude. It is highly important that I get to that in that interview.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I agree. Music's so important. What are some tips for building a successful brand as a DJ company?
It's so multi-legged and faceted these days. I mean, I think there's so many definitions of branding and so many wings or whatever, legs. Like it's like a spider, right? Yeah, you got to have your brand, your logo. You got to have, what are you going to send to the client for after they book you? We send a little gift out. What is your show like? What does it look like after you set up? What are you going to wear? What does your email sound like? The voice, does it sound like something AI generated or super corporate when you don't need to be? There are so many different pieces of media and what does your social look like? What does your website look like? There's so many ways to hit people now. Number one, it just has to be consistent, right? Have the same voice, the same look, but it's just so hard to say. Right? I mean, how do you build a brand? It's all of those things. And I'm not saying one area can't be a little weak. Some people don't do great on social, but they have a great brand because their show is so good or because they're well liked. I've gotten shows where people have never even seen me play before, but I met them at a networking meeting and they were like, man, you're a cool guy. Like you got it going on. I like what you're doing. I've heard about you, and we've literally gotten on preferred vendors list from conversations. And so it's all of those things, and they have to be all functioning. It's something you always have to have your pulse on. If I feel like we're kind of lacking in our networking with other vendors, I'll tell Randy, let's send them all whatever, scratch off ticket or something with a funny letter. Let's plan a dinner for every wedding planner. We did a luncheon, like I think last year, big Mexican restaurant, had probably 25 wedding planners. Most of them hated each other. I don't even know how I got them in the same room, but it was genius from our end. So anyway, it's multifaceted, and I think it's a 2-hour podcast in itself.
Creativity with not giving up, and just like the podcast, not giving up. Yeah. So important.
It is. Every element of your business and your brand. I don't want to say you overthink it or need to overthink it, but especially as you're growing, as you're coming up, need to be thought about. Sometimes I remember 1 or 2 years ago, Randy and I was like, and this was in January, February, we were slow. Let's step outside this and look at it from the customer angle, right? I'm going to ping the website right now and act like I'm booking a wedding for Joe Bunn. And you respond how you respond, and then do everything. If we send out a gift, boom, send the gift, like do the whole experience. We kind of tweak some things from that. So sometimes I think you have to step outside of being an owner or a DJ and put yourself in the shoes of the client.
Golden nugget right there.
There it is.
When I ran my company, and I did the same thing. I secret shopped my competitors to say, what are they doing differently? And
if you're not doing that, number one, please do it. Just make up some random christysmith@gmail.com.
Mm-hmm.
Number one. And if you think it's unscrupulous or it's affecting your morals, know that they're doing it to you. Right. So you might as well just go ahead and do the same. It's just being a smart business person to know where you fall in this line, at least on your pricing, right? We want to be at the highest mark. We've earned that. We deserve to be at the highest. So if nothing else, that's why I do it.
Time for a quick break from the show to let you know about the Wedding Music Letter. Are you struggling to find the wedding songs that match your personality and music style? Are you having a hard time keeping up with the new wedding songs being released? Then subscribe today to the Wedding Music Letter by going to my website, myweddingsongs.com, and clicking on the Join Now button. Every Wednesday, you'll get song ideas to build your wedding playlists. On the last day of the month, you'll get all of the new wedding songs released from the prior month. So subscribe today and join over 7,000 other engaged couples and wedding pros by going to myweddingsongs.com and joining the Wedding Music Letter today. Now back to the show. It's funny. I have a funny story about that, where I secret shopped one of my competitors. And one of the things I did when I got that inquiry is I sent them a list of, here's popular wedding songs. That's kind of how I got started in it all. Yeah. And he sent me my playlist back as a secret shopper.
Was it rebranded or anything? Or
nope, just copied it and sent it. And I'm like, wow, yeah, this is I need to send a letter from a lawyer just because.
Oh, I've never seen that one. That's a slick move there.
Crazy.
Wow. Hey, buddy, I'm going to do you a favor. Look at this hot list of wedding songs. And you're like, that looks really familiar.
Right.
Because I wrote it.
Crazy what people will do. So where do you see the future of DJing headed?
Up. I was going back to what we were talking to earlier. I don't mean that in a over the top production level, gear level. I don't think that has anything to do with your success. I know it doesn't. The stuff that you see me use, not even my guys have, right? It's just kind of part of what I like and what I'll take out. But I'm still in and out in under an hour, period. Even if I did it by myself without Saquon, I can get in and out in under an hour. Easy, because that's what I always train myself to do, right? To be a mobile DJ, to know that I got to bring it in, take it out at every party. I'm not just showing up with a thumb drive like a club DJ. So I don't base success on that. I feel like the South is kind of 2 years behind anything that New Jersey does. And so I kind of am able to look at things from a bird's eye view and really think about it before I have to buy it or before anybody even asks about it. The Sparks, we never even really got into it. We had a few. I kept seeing disaster stories and the floor got burned or the overhead stuff caught on fire. And so we did them outside only for a while for exits. But even that, the DJs didn't want to do it. Even gobos, we could never really get the skew right on them. And we didn't really want to go to projectors. We were still using the OG metal gobos. We got out of that. We never really got into TVs because we didn't want to get into what are we going to put on them and dragging an 80-inch TV around in road cases. I mean, most of my guys have midsize SUVs. They have small rigs. We play 125, 150 people. You can see these pictures. I mean, some of them have gig bars and simple facades and stuff. There's another one. Like, it's just, that's not part of what makes a DJ successful or great or anything like that, right? It's what you're comfortable with, what you want to look like. They all still have their cables tucked away. They look professional. They sound professional. They're dressed well. But the future of DJing is here to stay if you are talented. You don't have to be the hottest scratcher, mixer, whatever, but you have to be good and you have to be professional and you have to be likable and you have to be a good person and you have to treat people well when they come up and ask for things. It's a multifaceted person that you have to be, and you have to have a unique personality to have longevity in the game. Because I've seen a lot of people, especially over the last 20 years, just in Raleigh. I was at that NACE event I played last night, and I looked around and I may have seen, I think there were 110 people, no exaggeration, probably 3 people from when I started 20 years ago, maybe 3, 1 florist and I think 1 lady, older planner that now kind of has younger people under her. That was it. I was like, and I looked at Lynn, I was like, man, we are the OGs here. We kind of are the only people that made it and still like it, still make money, still profitable. It's pretty amazing to look back. And so now, just a final note on that, you have to keep going to these meetings because there's a whole new wave of people in these venues. There's a whole new wave of wedding planners. They may not know me. I have to kind of reintroduce myself to some of these people sometimes, or introduce myself for the first time. Hey, I'm Joe Bunn. I own a DJ company. Love to take you to coffee. Love to grab lunch. It's a never-ending cycle of attrition where people are getting fired or changing jobs or moving to other states or having babies or whatever, and fighting to stay on that list. But it's a lot easier when you're a really good DJ or you're supplying really good DJs, because then they don't have a choice. It's like, we have to have these guys on the list.
Absolutely. Speaking of experience, can you give any favorite background tracks for setting the good vibes?
Background, not like instrumental.
Like cocktail hour, dinner, whatever hits your,
Yeah, I do a lot of consulting with other DJs. A guy called me yesterday from Germany and set up a call with me for an hour. Actually, his English was really good. I mean, he had a heavy German accent, but his English was outstanding. And we were just talking about the cocktail hour. I think he was just almost like walking me through, and their receptions are like 12 to 14 hours, he told me. And I was like, dude, I'm so glad I don't live in Germany. But he was kind of walking me through the day and talking about cocktails, and that he was live mixing cocktails and dinner, which is rare that I do. Most of the time it's because it's in a different area or it's outside. Sometimes I autopilot it. But what I was telling him is what I still think is so important is those 2 hours. The selection, either A, provided partially by the couple usually, is my chance to play all the stuff that is not danceable, right? So if I'm playing Coldplay, the guests are going to be like, oh, Kelly and Rob love Coldplay. He must have worked with them. So I'm already like +1 star. But then it's also my job to, just like open dancing, to fill in the blanks. That's where it's almost my selfish time sometimes. My guys I like, or my girls I like, the Amy Winehouses or the Bob Marleys or the Van Morrisons or the Ray LaMontaignes come into play. That I'm selfishly interjecting those between whatever they picked. It's almost more artist driven than it is track driven. And then if it was not wedding, when it was corporate, like this thing today, I flip it. I have this cool cocktails crate, which is kind of some of the same artists, but more beat driven. So you might hear whatever, Foster the People in there, or some remix of a Rolling Stone song that I found that was like an authorized Dr. Dre Miss You remix. It was on like some random Austin Powers soundtrack. That's just super unusual, to the point where people come up and be like, what is this? Or where did you get this? Is this something I can get on Spotify? Like, you want those moments during cocktails or dinner where people come up and be like, I love this. Or where did you find this? I think that's how you know you're doing a good job. Not that you're trying to be super unique, but that you are being noticed. You're in the background, but you're also creating that first moment, that first, I've arrived at the party, I'm getting my first drink, I'm having my first conversation. And I think it's incredibly important.
Great tips. I know you're in North Carolina where, I was raised in Montana. And so it's kind of the same thing. We're 2 years behind in music. But what are you finding is filling the dance floor in your area?
It's still all over the place because the tried and true, whatever, Mobile Beat Top 200, the Matt Campbell wedding playlist top 100. I mean, you can close your eyes and put your finger on one of them, and I could probably pull it, and I can make it work. Whether it's Brick House or Signed, Sealed, Delivered or Uptown Funk. The gold is where you turn to become more original, or where the bravery kicks in. Like, where is that line of, oh, this dude's gone off the rails, he's lost me, or this guy has ascended to a god because he's just dropped whatever. Right. I think that's the hardest thing for people to do as a DJ, especially a mobile DJ, is because you do have this giant handful of songs that are going to work damn near across any age group. But then you've got this pocket full where you're like, man, this can go one of two ways. I could go next level right here, nuclear, or this is going to clear the dance floor, and I better have the next song ready. It's like everybody talks about chess. I don't know how to play, but it's always I'm 2-3 songs ahead in my brain. If this doesn't work, how do I get out quick and salvage it and keep it going without having to play the cha-cha slide or a ballad? So I don't know. I'm sure I jumped off the question, but it's the tried and true always work. But I do think you have to interject to make yourself relevant, to appease the audience, to let them know that you're not just some ho-hum wedding DJs, that they know you're going to play Uptown Funk, but did they know you were going to play this Taylor Swift remix? Or did they know you were going to play a Dua Lipa track that just came out last week? That's where you go to the next level, I think.
I 100% agree. The greatest feeling as a DJ is to play that one song after a song that you know is going to be fantastic. Let's say everybody, in your area, everybody loves Sweet Caroline. Well, great. That one goes off wonderful. Everybody sing along. But what's that next song that you're going to play? Exactly what you're saying. Are you going to clear the dance floor? Well, maybe you go to Four Non Blondes, What's Up, just to keep that sing along.
Yeah.
Where it's a chance. Yeah, they may not know it. It's a little more new.
Write that down. I haven't played that in a while myself. I love that song.
Or the DJ Miko version where it's the
4 on the floor kind of. Yeah.
Yeah. So I agree. It's taking that chance where, oh my gosh, this is awesome. Nobody thought of it.
And it's going to make you so much happier. I mean, I did it last night. I think I even got on the mic. And again, this was vendors at this NACE thing. But I said, this one's for me, because it was a Fall Out Boy song. And I was like, I don't know where this is going to go. I don't really care. I wasn't even being paid, if we're being frank, but it went off. You know what I mean? But I just was like, I'm going into this pop punk set because it's a holiday party. I'm supposed to be having fun too. I volunteered this for everybody to have a party for people that do nothing but playing parties all year. And I might as well have fun too. So I go into this pop punk set, and luckily it went off, but I probably would have dumped it if it had.
That's awesome. Before we close out here, I have to do a quick game with you because we're both music lovers, and I'm trying to make it a little bit more personal just for you.
Okay.
I'm going to ask you, which one do you like better?
Okay.
I'm going to get a little bit crazy on the first one. So would you pick Village People YMCA versus Billy Ray Cyrus, Achy Breaky Heart?
Okay, hold on. Let me quantify the rules here. Are you saying if I had to pull one at a party, or if I have to ride around in my car and listen to this?
That's a great question. Let's
say at a party. This. Okay.
Yeah, let's do at a party.
I'm pulling YMCA with a quick just chorus in and out.
Okay. Next up, we're going to do Notorious B.I.G. with Mo Money, Mo Problems, or Warren G. Regulate.
More Money, More Problems all day. The tempo, the speed is better. I got an edit that cuts straight to the Biggie verse. The sample is just, that song's elite in my opinion. That's an easy one.
Okay. Let's make it more difficult.
Okay.
Backstreet Boys, I Want It That Way versus NSYNC, Bye Bye Bye.
Oh, Bye 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 Scooter remix all day. Okay. And I would have gone maybe out of it, sped it up into Backstreet, Backstreet's Back. But I do like I Want It That Way, but I that was an easy one.
Okay. This one's a little bit odder.
Okay.
Nirvana, Come As You Are, Smashing Pumpkins, 1979.
Love those bands like as if they were my brothers, both of them. I'm going Come As You Are because I think it would be more known.
Yep.
That's the only reason. I think I could sell it a little easier just because Kurt was so unique with his voice, and it's got that bass line. 1979 is a little more erratic. I think I could sell "Come as You Are."
I agree. If I'm in my car, I'm listening to 1979.
Same.
Yeah.
I would have switched it there. If it was a car thing, I'd switch.
Okay, let's get personal here. I know everybody's gonna love this one. Avril Lavigne, Skater Boy versus Fall Out Boy, Sugar We're Going Down.
This is hard. You're right. Sugar We're Going Down is my anthem. Like, I'll jump up on a speaker and kick you in the face just for the sheer. I'll put that song in my top 5 personal songs of all time. And I don't even know why. It's just, it gets me so hype when somebody else plays it. I've always loved that song. I think it was kind of one of my introductions to like that whole pop punk movement. But I don't know if y'all have seen Avril Lavigne lately. She's basically my girlfriend. She looks as good today at 40. She's got to be 40 years old as she did when she was 18. She's gorgeous. But song wise, I'm going Fall Out Boy. But Avril Lavigne's my girlfriend still.
There you have it. I didn't make it hard for that one because I know you do like Avril.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, I love her.
Just kind of close it out. Can you tell anybody a little bit about any projects that you're currently working on that you want to share?
Yes, I will. The reason I went and wasted my morning at the bank prior to this podcast is because for the first time in 3.5 years, I have full control over Bunn Gear. I don't have any partners. I don't have anybody to answer to. I don't have anybody I have to ask if I can spend money on this, that, and the third. And I have 100 brand new black and white boots coming from the manufacturer as we speak, set to arrive shortly. And so you will once again be able to purchase these. I'm going to try and get the price down a little bit. I'm going to try and get the market share that I lost from these pauses back. I'm going to sell these booths to make DJs look and feel better when they're out there on the dance floor and not set up behind these facades or on these raggedy tables with a dirty linen on it. I want DJs to look and feel amazing when they're out there entertaining people. And you should, because you are the focal point of that room. Do not hide behind some wall. That is ridiculous. People want to see what you're doing. And I don't appreciate all the people that have stolen my ideas and looks and everything else. So I'm putting it out there that I'm coming back. Bunn Gear is back. It'll be bungear.com. I'm not sure when this drops, but they'll be for sale very soon. Arrival, we're recording this in December. Arrival within the next week. By the time we get them processed, boxed up and everything, shipping in January. So I'm standing behind that. I've missed these dates before, but I posted a picture the other day. I've never gotten reaction like I did. There was literally 100 sitting in a room, and that's not how these other factories had treated me over the years. They would trickle them out, and that would mess me up. And so I'm very confident. The prototype was immaculate, increased the aluminum quality a little bit. I mean, sitting side by side beside the very first one I ever made, I couldn't even tell the difference. So it's the same booth, but probably better quality and a little bit lower price. So I'm very excited about that. That's the main thing I would talk about right now.
Awesome. Congratulations. Because I know that's improving the DJ industry with products like that. So that's awesome.
I hope so. That was the intention. I haven't done a show without mine in 3 years. And I don't care if I'm playing at a cycling studio or Epic Games for 2,000 people on a stage in front of a Fortnite bus last weekend. Like it's at every show I do.
Is there anything else you wanted to talk about that we didn't cover today?
Man, the last thing I'll say is I know your audience is kind of diverse, but any DJs listening, if you are having a hard time with your DJ business, there are 2 things I'll recommend. One is not even launched yet. So whenever this podcast is released, as long as it's after tomorrow, you'll be able to sign up for this. Myself, Brian Bonacisi, and Jason Jani, the guys that created the DJ Collective, which is a high-end DJ conference experience, if you will. We just got done doing it in Atlanta in November. We are doing something we're calling Collective Mentoring, the 3 of us every week on a call with whoever signs up for this thing. It's going to be DJCmentoring.com if you want to get involved. It will launch tomorrow, which is December 14th. So as long as you're hearing this in the future, you can sign up at DJCmentoring.com. And then I will always be most proud of the DJ's Vault. If you've never heard of it, it's the DJsVault.com. It's my membership site. I got 1,000 DJs in there from somebody that started last month to people that have 30, 40 years under their belt. And it is everything in my brain spit out into short, powerful videos and documents that you can use for your company. New content drops every single month at the first of the month. And then also almost every week we do a live show kind of like this with other people that are in the DJ space. I promise you, if you are spending time searching YouTube for this, that, and the other, and having trouble running your DJ business, or just need like a platform to sound off on, we have a private Facebook group with no trolls in it. I promise you it is worth $27 a month to get in the DJ's Vault. Just try it. You can quit anytime if you don't like it. In fact, I think if you go to the djsvault.com right now, there's a 7-day free trial and you get a free PDF called How to Get on the Preferred Vendors List. So I don't know how you can turn that off or down, but those are the only time. At the end of the day, do I make money on these things? Yes. Do they take a lot of money to create and run? Yes. But at the end of the day, the job that I feel like that I've accepted, and the role I've accepted over the last decade, is to help DJs be better. And I spent 10 years before that writing for every magazine that used to be out, and Disc Jockey News, and speaking at all these conferences for free, for $0, and just realized that you don't touch enough people that way. With the Vault, the whole world, like I said, that guy from Germany knew me from being a member of the Vault. Somehow he found it and watches the videos and learns and growing his business. It's very powerful to know there's DJs all over the world potentially learning from these videos.
Yes, we all appreciate you in the DJ industry being an influencer and helping everybody up their game. So how do people contact you if they want to reach out to you?
You can reach me, honestly, anybody listening to this, joe@bunndjcompany.com, comes directly to me. Nobody's screening that. You can reach me there anytime. I'm guaranteed within a day or so I'll get back to you. Please don't send me like a novel of some issue you have, but if you have a quick one-off question, I'll be glad to spit an answer back really fast to you. Anybody that knows from any of my channels, Instagram or whatever, I'll usually, if somebody's got a question, I'm going to respond to it. I respond to the YouTube comments. I respond to the Instagram DMs. But if you are listening to this, then I would just shoot me an email, because that's obviously where most of my business goes. DMs and things like that kind of get confusing and you lose conversation sometimes. But if you just shoot me an email, at least then we've got the record of what we've said back and forth.
Well, thanks, Joe, for being on the show.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for everybody listening, and stay tuned for next week for another episode where I'm going to be interviewing another wedding professional. Thanks for listening. Have a great day.
See you guys.
Thank you for listening to the Wedding Songs Podcast. Never miss a future episode. Subscribe today to our podcast. Follow us on Facebook at My Wedding Songs and send us a message about playlists you would like covered.